And welcome again to the PTZ, the Political Twilight Zone. And I actually think that saying this is the Twilight Zone is an understatement now. I'm here with Morgan Brittany from Dallas. Welcome, Morgan.
It's good to be back. Another day, another crisis.
That's right.
You can't write this stuff, I'm telling you.
Well, give us a quick, I always ask you, give us a quick on-the-ground assessment of what's going on out there in liberal land.
Well, same old thing out here in California. I was, we were having some civil unrest downtown LA last night because there had been an altercation between a black man and a police officer, and then to top that off, there's a church out here that has been holding their church services in the adjacent parking lot, and the city has now decided that they're going to repossess that parking lot and make it unlawful for the people to be able to use it anymore.
Wow.
Because they haven't been following the coronavirus guidelines. And, it's just one thing after another. They do not want us to worship out here. They are doing everything that they possibly can in order to shut down and keep shut down all the churches and places of worship, not just churches, but all places of worship. And they have an agenda that they don't want people gathering together and talking to one another. They don't want them praying. They don't want them singing. They don't want them feeling uplifted at all. They need to keep them in this constant fear. And this church that they confiscated their parking lot, I guess they had a lease on that parking lot, and they now decided that they're taking that lease away. People were going by the hundreds, to worship on Sunday, and now, they're just doing whatever they can just to make our lives even worse.
Wow. Well, I've always thought the persecution of the church would come, but it's here now. What's happened in California will eventually spread across the country.
Oh, it for sure will. I mean, it's just, I can't believe that they've become, I thought they were unhinged before, but they've become so unhinged out here that it's crazy. I mean, it is literally crazy. I don't know how much worse they can get.
Wow. Well, and I've got some news from Virginia too. We're heading towards that insanity here because the state legislature has passed a bill that now has reduced the punishment for assaulting a police officer from a felony down to a misdemeanor, and has also eliminated the jail time. But get this, it not only includes assaults on police officers, it includes judges, magistrates, emergency workers, firefighters. I mean, this is absolutely crazy. So, why don't we just, put out the welcome mat for all the rioters to come to Virginia now, because that's what's going to happen. And it's only going to take, and I predict it'll happen, somebody somewhere in the state of Virginia, probably in Richmond or Hampton Roads to start with, will be shot, and the rioters will come in, and there'll be chaos in Virginia. It's going to happen at some point.
Yeah. Oh, no, I completely understand. And you have to think that all of these people who want to be first responders and they want to go into, being judges or whatever, and they're going to think twice about it. They're going to really think twice about going out. Why would they do it? Right. And I was listening to President Trump today in Kenosha, and he was talking with the police and was saying, you've got to understand that most people in this country love what you do. They support you. They back you. Don't believe the media. And he pointed to all the reporters out in the audience, and he said, don't believe them, because the American people do want you. The black communities do want you. I mean, it was great for him to say that, because their morale must be down. They must be scared to death to leave and go out, not knowing if they're just going to be shot randomly. I mean, it's you're right. It's probably it's just going to take one lighting of a match in Virginia, and there you go.
Right. Yep. Well, yeah, I want to play before we're going to review the RNC convention, but I do want to play this one clip. You mentioned Trump. He said, this is the clip when some, reporter, I think it was Caitlin Collins, was asking Trump to tell his supporters to stop using paintballs and things like that. Listen to this is a perfect response from Trump. Listen to this.
Yeah, please.
I have a question on coronavirus, but first, you were just criticizing Joe Biden, saying he didn't mention the far left or Antifa during his speech today. You said you wanted to talk about left-wing political violence.
Yeah.
But I noticed you did not mention that your supporters were also in Portland this weekend, firing paintball guns at people, some form of pepper spray. So do you want to also take this chance to condemn what your supporters did in
Well, I
Portland?
understand they had large numbers of people that were supporters, but that was a peaceful protest. And paint is a defensive mechanism. Paint is not bullets. Your supporters, and they are your supporters indeed, shot a young gentleman and killed him, not with paint, but with a bullet. And I think it's disgraceful.
That was a perfect response to that.
It was. It was absolutely perfect. He couldn't have said anything better. It just gets right to the point. He was very matter-of-fact about it, and it was great.
I'm seeing a change in Trump. I think he like this one, very subdued, but I think because of that, people lean in a little bit and listen to what he says, and then he just drives the point home. As opposed, I think in the past he's been more bombastic, which I don't mind that sometimes either, because that can make your point as well. But yeah, that was very, very subtle and to the point. Well, not subtle, actually. He just said, that gentleman was killed by a bullet, not a paintball. So,
exactly. Big difference. Yeah. And you know what? That just put that girl right in her place, because how ridiculous of a comparison is that? How ridiculous, really.
Well, they're trying to for weeks now. They've been denying these riots, so now they have to admit that they are rioting. They're trying to turn it completely around and saying the rioters are Trump people and the protesters are Biden people. I mean, and so it's just it's crazy.
I know.
It's like these people don't realize that there's social media, that people can go and look this stuff up. So
Yeah. Well, those that do, Rush was right this morning when he said some people just, they don't even care as long as there's a D after their name, they hit the button.
Yeah.
So
True.
I don't know. Just like you said before, we can only pray. We can only just hold on, and just I'm gonna think as positive as I can.
Yep.